right. Well,
Would you care to join me for a blood-curdling scream?
no, don't, no.
A victory screech, you say?
Your window's open, don't you dare.
Whatever. We never get to do what I want to do. Well, salutations and felicitations, everyone. Welcome to this train wreck that we gotta keep on rolling.
No.
I think at this point you don't really have much of a choice.
Don't worry, I can fix the train.
I believe in you. So who remembers what happened last time?
I believe that's up to me again.
Only if you volunteer.
Yeah, eternally, I guess.
Yeah!
So last session we started off with trying to figure out how to get Mad Maddie and Agrafina out to the church so that they could be tended to. The big conundrum being how to get them past both checkpoints. The official military checkpoint, but also the unofficial Knight Rider checkpoint. Heinrich was able to put together a stretcher using some of the finely machined parts in Maddie's nest, and Modest volunteered to carry Agrafina out, and we used our well thought out lipstick on the wall trail to make it back out of the maze. We did encounter an ambush from the Gator Boys, but through the careful use of some smoke and smoke bombs recently acquired and some quick thinking, we were able to sneak right past them. Heading back over towards the checkpoint, we went back down to the level the tracks were on, beneath all the bridges, and snuck across while avoiding the searchlights, but ran into both Redfield and White Company on the other side in the... I believe you said it was like the station? Or was it like a depot?
It was more like a depot for freight
More like a
trains.
depot. Okay. Daisy turned into a undead velociraptor to distract in order for the rest of us to make our way through, and it pretty much worked. We aided in the distraction efforts in our own individual ways, and were able to push through, and with velociraptor speed, Daisy was able to catch up to us. And we lost our tail and dropped off Maddie and Agrafina at a local temple, gave them the necessary details about the labyrinth curse and how to proceed, and headed back to the Novikov estate just in time for breakfast, and have since been spending the past 4 days on personal projects.
Correct, Mundo. Does anybody else remember anything else that happened that they want to add?
The guy at the church really hated adventurers.
Oh, yeah. Who we
Yes,
dropped
he
everyone
did.
off with, yeah.
Yes, he did.
That's about it, though, aside from our personal things, which I think a portion of us sorted out over the week.
Yeah, do we want to sum any of that up for our viewers?
Oh yeah, everyone
Yeah.
could run through real quick what they did. Just like maybe keep it down to actions and or major revelations.
I'll go ahead and kick us off with Ollie finished crafting his wand for Raoul of Raoul's storage, and just has to get that delivered and receive final payment. Learned another spell that was on a scroll, and upgraded his own wand.
And you also converted those fancy chair legs into +1 wand blanks.
Oh, that's correct. Yeah, and I used one of those. No, I only have 3. Used one of those to upgrade my own wand.
Correct. And while you were using the Novikov family's workshops, When you were in the middle of working, Timur approached you and tried to commission a wand of paralysis. You realized that nobody was selling to him because he was so young and has no real money of his own and is also blatantly evil. Which, according to Timur, is ridiculous because obviously the ancient and puissant Novikov family always pays its debts. But he tries to commission you for a wand of paralysis. Are you going to make him one?
I will try to discourage him from that by going through a bunch of levels of like red tape and bureaucracy, I guess, in that I wouldn't be making it. I'd have to custom order it from the shop back home, and because of the type of spell, there'd be some extra paperwork involved. And
can you hit me with a persuasion or a deception?
I will do my utmost.
You can even use a tools check to try and get him with the bureaucracy and hit him with that legalese that he might not fully understand.
Sure. Let's go ahead and... Okay, you said persuasion or deception or...
Or some kind of wand tools check, yeah.
Okay.
Or even an arcana.
I'll hit him with an arcana then. $22.
Timur is very disappointed, but he understands, and he thanks you for your time. And when he leaves, you kind of hear him muttering under his breath. He's like, "Soon, she will be mine. It will all be mine. I must find a way."
Enterprising little fella. A bit overt, but enterprising.
Indeed. Once you have finished with all of that business, you have several hours to yourself. You don't work 24/7 or anything like that. But during some quiet moments in the Novikov estate, when you are quietly going about your business, you hear Kira talking with Demyan in the main hall, and the sound carries over to you, and you can't help but overhear a little conversation they have, where Demyan is talking about how in the last couple days he has noticed some people watching the estate. They look like mercenaries with white pauldrons. And Kira kind of hems and haws over and says, "Well, just bring the matter to security and try to keep it on the down low. I think I have heard mention of such mercenaries from my friends in the past. We don't want to alarm anyone." And Demyan kind of nods and bows, and they split up and go their separate ways.
Duly noted.
Should I jump into my thing?
Yeah, sure.
I spent my time doing. Marjorie spent a majority of her leisure time with Modest, but then she also spent time working on a new dress, and then digging into the book that she got out of the vault at Kira's house, The Cold Blows the Wind. And I think those were the big things. And she looked into how much it would cost to have her guitar shrunk down to be like a charm on her necklace, and that's a future her thing. That's a big investment, so that'll be putting a pin in that one.
Yes, Modest shows you around, and he is very excited to do so, but you kind of find that he likes to hang around in only a few certain places. The Novikov estate has horses, so you can easily and no problem go horseback riding with him. And he takes you to a place called the Ringstrasse. It is the neighborhood around the new governor's mansion. It is very opulent and beautiful, and it all looks pretty new and is a very stark contrast to the squalor of the rest of Joserstan. It's filled with little parks and fountains and trees and gazebos and flowers and people in fancy dresses going for strolls and top hats and all that good stuff.
Probably reminds her of Castile a little bit. Different architecture, I'm sure, but like she's she finds it refreshing to be in a much more upscale place.
Yes, it's much more green and way more colorful because they're in the swamps and they have all sorts of crazy blue and purple and white and red flowers. Wacky and on vines growing all over the place. It's a very beautiful spot that you can tell cost a lot of money.
Oh yeah, she has a great time.
And when you ask about places to go and things to do and see, you bring up the nightclub scene, and Modest isn't too big on the larger, more popular places, but he does know of them. He has been to a place called the Hissy Fit, but he doesn't really like going there. He says it's too noisy, and it has a bad reputation for belonging to the gangs. He says that he goes there very infrequently, but when he does go there, it is specifically to see his favorite saxophonist, a Minotaur fellow named Nish Niels. Oh, man, that guy can shred!
Oh, she'd obviously, the second she finds out he likes music, like that just becomes an entire thing. Like she'll be like, oh, really? And then she'd want to know about anything else he's interested in, and then probably go on a little bit about her own interests. She's a bit more classical with the guitar and flute, but she can totally appreciate the saxophone. It's a wonderfully unique sound.
You come to find that he also likes the classical stuff, but he tries to enjoy weird things. Avant-garde art and music and all of that, even though you can tell he kind of doesn't really understand it. He just likes it because it's different.
Oh, she teased the heck out of him about how well he'd fit in the Celestine Empire.
He takes it very well, but kind of gets the shifty eyes, like, oh yes, I'm very fancy, very, very wealthy, very, well read. Shifty eyes.
Well, she like says, oh, you don't have to be a scholar to appreciate the good, the strange, and the weird. Like she says, sculptors have really been putting up some interesting things around Castile lately. And then she'll like mention some like similar avant-garde art styles that have been going around, and just kind of relate to not everyone needs to be, the next top philosopher to appreciate it.
You can see the gears turning in his head as he formulates a plot. But another place that he takes you to is another nightclub. You just ride by it on horseback because he says it looks way better than it actually is. Not my scene. And it is this big black square of a building with a red K outside of it. He says he's only been there once, and that K is the newest club/lounge in town. It is very trendy but exclusive, and he says dark and mysterious as well. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Everyone in there is so quiet.
Oh, is that the only thing, or is there something else?
He gets the wheh, and he takes you to a few of his favorite spots. One of them is kind of a surprise. It is located in the slums near the train track. It is kind of a half-tent, half-shanty building built into the wrecked shell of an opera house. It is the Knights Vanguard Commissary. It's like a second-hand store run by the Knights Vanguard that mostly sells to poor people. And at first, you have no idea why the fuck he's bringing you to this place. Oh my god, it's so dirty and busted and broken down. But when you go inside, he starts pointing out the stuff they have on the shelves, and it is a wild smorgasbord of, like, everything. Furniture, toys, canned food, jars of jams, dinnerware. It's got, like, really top-tier, wacky knickknacks.
Okay, I assume a lot of foreign stuff, too. Or is it all local?
Almost all foreign stuff. It is from all over the place.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. She loves that. She thinks that's cool.
You catch him, like, you like start looking for stuff and you find plenty of interesting things, but out of the corner of your eye you see Modest having a conversation with like a statue. a weird little statue of a child that looks like he's wearing a military uniform. And like when you do the double take, the statue turns to you and like it gets angry eyebrows and then turns back to Modest, and you hear him, the little statue, in a child's voice talking to Modest, being mad about your presence. What is she doing here? I thought you said you were going to bring Kira. Where is Kira? Look, why do you keep bringing her up? Come on, man, I'm trying to do something here. He just like smiles and goes, haha, just having a conversation with the sergeant. And you notice that this little doll boy is wearing a Vanguard uniform, or at least the fatigues.
Right. Oh man, can I tell what the heck is going on with this guy? Not to like pry too much, but I'm kind of curious. Why does he look like a statue?
Well, he looks like he's made out of wood and polished porcelain. He has a weird child's face that looks like he's tried to rub off some of the like makeup that gave him rosy cheeks. He's got scratches that look like scars.
Do I have
Modest,
any idea what that is?
Modest leans in and says, "Oh, he's like a construct. They call them Wäscherkind."
Oh, okay. I assume I pick up on that. Probably rare though, or less common.
Very, very rare, especially in the Celestine Empire. This would be one of those things where, oh yeah, I think I may have heard of those.
Right. Okay.
Sometimes rogue fae will steal a child and then replace it with one of these, a decoy designed to fool the parents into not searching for the kid that they stole so they can make a clean getaway.
Oh no, that's super messed up. But okay, all right, and yeah, then she'll just follow Modest lead, and that's what they spend the next few days on, just going to little, I assume, similar holes in the wall, unique places.
Oh yeah, he takes you to he ends a few of the days going to a cafe, very small cafe or club called Der Building House. It serves excellent food and has wild avant-garde art and performances. When he's like taking you through it and pointing at stuff and pointing at pieces, you feel like, oh, this is very Celestine. Like how weird everything is. And you can tell that all of it is going over his head, but he's just like, look at how weird it is. See, check it out. And he takes you over to a little column with a box on it, and it has a lever in the top.
As in, we're meant to pull it?
There's a bunch of people surrounding it, and they're all discussing it. It's like, oh yes, this is so unique. And Modest is like, what do you think happens if we pull the lever?
Well, isn't anyone going to find out? Is it like a performance piece? You're like supposed to mess with it?
Modest is like, I have no idea. It's just on a pedestal. It's right here.
Oh,
There's
man.
no ropes or anything.
Yeah. This rings pull the lever, Kronk, doesn't it?
You might as well.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. I pull that lever. I walk past all these people. I just pull that bad boy.
Oh, yeah. You walk up, you grasp the lever, give it a pull, and when it initiates, when you pull it back, you hear a click and a bunch of chunks, and the entire wood and metal box just falls to pieces. And eventually you're just kind of left holding the lever. And Modest like kind of drops his jaw like, oh, what did you do? You broke it.
I have a laugh because I assume, does this feel like that's the point?
All of the people around you kind of, a couple of them gasp and they're like, oh no. But other ones are like, yeah, and they start snapping. Yeah, it's a metaphor for trauma.
Most excellent. Do I think he's actually into this, or is he just trying to be like, yeah, I'm totally also into this?
Hit me with an insight check.
Yikes. That's pretty low for me.
You're not 100% sure, so you decide to kind of stick with him a little more and see his reaction to the show that's about to happen, because it's open mic night. You sit down with Modest, and he orders you some drinks, and the drinks are super weird. I have no idea what this is, so I am ordering one for each of us.
Oh, yeah, she's totally on board with that. She loves new shit.
Butter tea sounds gross. So he orders you some butter tea.
Thanks. What is he getting himself? Also
Butter
butter
tea.
tea? Okay, good. He's going to suffer with me.
You take a sip of it together, and he just kind of stares off into space.
This is all Daisy's fault.
This is indeed all Daisy's fault. And while you guys are choking down your butter tea, a green dragonborn named Beep is wheeled on stage with like a box trolley. They wheel him out and kind of stand him there, and he can't really move because it looks like he's wearing a gigantic suit made out of interconnected sheets of cardboard and trash. And they introduce him as Beep, and they give him a little drum roll, and he just starts like going bow, what, and making random noises and beeps and squeaks for like 5 minutes. And then when he stops, they take the little box trolley and shove it under him and start to wheel him off. And then everybody in the room just like starts snapping. And you look over to Modest, he's like, oh, we snap when they're done. How wacky is that? And you're like, you're 99% sure that he just likes this because it's weird and different.
Which is fine. That's kind of the whole point of avant-garde.
You don't think he really knows what's fashionable beyond what looks good in the mirror?
Right, okay. Would I be able to, like, help him out a little? I mean, I myself don't really know how to, like, teach someone about avant-garde, but would I be able to, like, roll or something to, like, help him maybe begin to understand why he likes some of this stuff?
I quadruple dog dare you to either roll a persuasion or a deception.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie to him. I'm gonna persuade him because Marjorie kind of likes some of this weird stuff too because of where she's from. So persuasion, please be somewhat decent. Damn it!
He smiles and nods and gives you the dreamy eyes.
Whatever, it works either way.
You can tell that Modest is very good at pretending to listen.
She sighs. We'll talk about it later. Don't worry about it.
Well, he is listening, but there's no way to know if he's understanding.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. She goes with it. They have pleasant chats. But yeah, that's that's the big RP thing she ends up doing the whole time.
Yeah, he goes hard. He's trying very, very hard. Right, who wants to say what they did in their downtime next?
I can. So Daisy spent the entirety of the 4 days doing something that I assume most of the party will frown upon. And she enlisted the help of some of our shadier companions to make an actual working voodoo doll of Valeria.
How did you end up convincing Yarroplek to steal something of hers?
I told him he could steal anything else of hers he wanted as long as I got one of them.
But like, did you give him a gross piece of your fingernail?
No.
Like, tell him in your brain parts?
So I told him in his brain parts, but instead of just giving him a gross thing, I would have like wrapped it around. Like, it would have been a piece of my hair, and I would have used it as like a bow on like a flower and given him a flower instead.
So when you start to approach Yarroplek, he like stands still like a deer in the headlights, hoping that you don't notice him. And like when you walk up to him, he's just like, oh no, oh god. And then you hand him a flower, and he goes, oh, that's nice. And when you tell him that you need him to steal something of Valeria's, he like kind of goes wide-eyed and gets the 1,000-yard stare, and then he slowly licks his lips and says, I'll be back in like 5 minutes. And then after about 5 minutes, he returns with a pair of green underwear.
My man.
Well, it's a personal item, you know. It'll do. She would thank Yarroplek and give him like some. Oh, no, I can't use that because you guys don't have them over there, and I'll just end up confusing everyone. What's...
Well, I mean, it's too late. You already said it.
I was going to say flapjacks, but made with honey instead of syrup, but you guys don't really have flapjacks.
We have pancakes.
No,
What are you
it's
talking
not the-
about?
It's not the
similar.
same.
Over there, they're Johnny cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, it's oats made together with normally just
Yeah,
oats put
okay.
together with syrup. So we do it healthier and we use honey
Mhm.
instead. So hers are with honey, but they're still quite sweet. So yes, he gets flapjacks, but they've got like a honey, but then they've got like a layer of essentially powdered sugar, but it's not sugar. It's just a sweet tasting floury thing on top. And Yaraflek gets like 2 of those for his service.
He begins to devour them greedily, just, pleasure doing business with you. Let me know if you want any more. And then?
And then Daisy would go off and spend the rest of the days in the garden, especially the part that she had overgrown, weaving together wicker, plants, fiber, and everything into a actual voodoo doll that has, the underwear as the heart for the doll. Not a sentence I wanted to say this early in the campaign. But she would basically, over like the next couple of days, use all of her spell slots to put energy into this. Which is a lot of spell slots. That's 4 level 1 spell slots and 2 level 2 spell slots every day.
You are pouring your magical energy into a voodoo doll of Valeria.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. It bears a disturbing resemblance. Like, if she sees this, there will be no question that it is a doll of her.
Do I think it'll work if I, prod it?
I mean, there's only one way to find out.
Okay, before I do that, though, Daisy believes somebody in the party needs to know what she's done. And so she's going to tell the only party member she thinks will agree with what she's done to any resemblance. She's going to go and try and talk to Madam Black.
Oh, man. So, when you approach Madam Black, she does a double take and instantly gets the angry eyebrows. And, first of all, you notice that she's knitting something. And when she sees you, she, puts it aside and fucking hides it. And she, gets that angry face. She stands up and she goes, "Ooh, vile creature. The only reason you're still upright is because I'm being paid not to end you." And when you get nice and close, she puts her hand on her weapon like she's getting ready to fight.
To calm her, Daisy would show her the doll.
She is instantly and for the moment very confused.
She would then
raises the eyebrow and just kind of goes, "What?"
She would then hand her a flower, like she did with Yara Black.
She stares at the doll and just absentmindedly takes the flower.
Good. Then I talk in her head and tell her it's a voodoo doll of Valeria.
You explain your plan to Madam Black. And she just stares at the doll. And when you're done, her eyes kind of go back and forth between you and the doll a few times. "Very well, creature. We are at peace for now. But once the woman is dealt with, then there will be difficulties."
Daisy would just nod to her and then leave.
So what do you want Madam Black to do with it? Anything, or are you just letting her know?
Oh, I'm letting Madam Black know because somebody needs to know. Mainly because...
Oh no, she was knitting! She reaches back in and gives you a bunch of needles!
Perfect. There we go. I've been helped. I need to go find Valeria now.
I can make her a little outfit now. Make the doll an outfit. You get all crafty with it.
Alright, so I assume you want to find Valeria and make sure that the voodoo doll works.
Yeah. Nothing serious for now, but I do want to make sure it works. So, find her and prick, the ankle, just to see.
Alright, I need you to roll me either a nature or a survival.
21 for nature.
So you creep around the estate looking for Valeria, and you don't have a whole lot of luck, but eventually you do find her. You find her in the observatory, and she's reading some books and taking some notes. It looks like she's doing some homework for something. And you start messing with the doll. You start giving it pokes. You start contorting it. You start playing around with it, and she doesn't really react too much. But after doing it for a while, kind of just when you're about to give up and you start to put the doll away, you see her slam the book shut, and she kind of stands up and shakes her shoulders and kind of rubs her neck, and she like looks around the room and she coughs. She seems very, very irritated and disturbed. And she puts all the stuff away and begins to leave. And she looks pretty aggravated. And you think maybe, just maybe, it worked a little.
Good. That's helpful. It worked a little, and that's all I need for now. Daisy would spend like the rest of her downtime taking a nap in the garden.
Sounds good to me. Who dares go next?
I can.
All right, what were your plans for the downtime?
So Aramis, with the help of Thymia, found a smith who took that silverware and silvered his rapier, and then he spent the rest of his time trying to chase this lead he had regarding the meetup at the nightclub, or one of the nightclubs, unsure which.
All right, when you talk about getting your sword silvered, Mrs. Novikov, she just like waves it off, like, oh, of course, we'll just give it to the workshop. They'll handle it. And she just like has you hand it over to them and tells you not to worry about it. And in the end, you will get your sword silvered, no problem, no charge either. Like she just has it done because she doesn't care about that at all. She wants to take you somewhere. And Aramis, you end up spending your long weekend in the luxurious arms of Mrs. Novikov, and she takes you to a series of extravagant black hat parties at a place called the Margaretin Club.
The Margaretin Club.
The Margaretin Club. It is filled with black hats, and it is extravagant. It is a private club that the Novikov family apparently belongs to. And she wines and dines you on all sorts of drink and champagne and food and desserts. And then she has you fuck the shit out of her at the end of it. But during the party, you dance with her. She parades you around and like fucking shows you off to people. And being a kind of experienced diplomat, or at least an experienced sort of junior diplomat, you know to keep an ear open for what people on the sidelines are saying, and you catch a whole bunch of people having conversations. You don't think that the people of Jozerstan, or at least the nobility of Jozerstan, they do not think very highly of the Novikov family.
Okay.
You hear a couple of older men having a conversation, and one of them says, did you see Lady Novikov's new toy? Celestine, I believe. Indeed. A knight, sworn man of the Order of the Lion and Rose. Ooh, you know them? My father requested their assistance years ago when all those partisans kept sabotaging our wells and running over the border to Kesh. They handled them with grace and aplomb and extreme prejudice. They sound effective. I wonder what she's playing at. And they kind of have themselves a little conversation. wondering about what Mrs. Novikov has planned for you. They seem to think that this is some sort of political move.
Interesting.
You hear a couple of ladies sharing some champagne when you are dancing with Mrs. Novikov, and one of them shakes her head, just, poor Euphemia. Stupidity runs in the blood, but at least it's only on the men's side. Hopefully her daughter can make something of the family name. I don't know. Her youngest seems to have a good head on his shoulders. Haha, Modest is handsome, but he hasn't much of a future, even if he bothers to stick around. No, the other one. What other one? There's another one? And they have a discussion trying to remember Timur's name, and they think it's got a T in it. The other
Love
one,
it.
pretty sure no, she's only got the son and the daughter, right? They debate it for a while. And, she introduces you to her friends and some of her colleagues. You find out that she's an author of technical manuals. Her family, she married into the Novikovs, and her family, they did a lot of carpentry. They were experts on it, and she is an expert on it herself. Looking at her hands, it doesn't look like she's done a lot of work in a while. And she talks to some of these people, and you overhear a couple more conversations. This time from some younger men. Always Mrs. Novikov, but never the Mister. Not that I'm complaining. The man was born an old fool. Imagine trying to marry your son off to an Osipova and failing. Ugh. Don't say their name lest you summon them. That imbecile Vcephalode still hasn't delivered my wife's brooch. I can't believe you would associate with those criminals. Do you want to get murdered in a cross-border gang war with cash bandits? Say what you want, but the Osipovas always gets their hands on the best materials in Ascentium. I imagine now that the father is dead, his pieces will skyrocket in value. That's true. I don't suppose you have any extra lying about. And the two gentlemen have themselves a conversation about Vcephalode and Kira's parents and the work that they did. Apparently it runs in the family.
Noted.
And as you are leaving with Mrs. Novikov, she's waving goodbye to some of her friends, and she turns her back on them just for a moment. You overhear the backstabbery. Good gracious, just look at her. Who? Euphemia Novikov, here again with another man who is not her husband. If I was married to Anton Novikov, I wouldn't bring him either. It's just so brazen and thoughtless. She ought to bring that Kira girl along, to at least try and make some connections. Imagine thrusting that girl into our world and abandoning her into the arms of that oaf of a son. She can thrust me into Modest's arms anytime she wants. What? I didn't say anything. What are you talking about? Huh? What? No, you said something. Who's the wind?
Smooth.
Very smooth indeed. You continue trying to find more information on Gabrielle's meeting place at one of the clubs in town, and asking around, especially some of the people in the Novikov estate. Some of them seem a little more in the know than others would be, and they tell you that the big place to be, especially for making connections, in regards to like maybe shadier stuff, would be the Hissy Fit. And you become fairly certain that your next stop should be the Hissy Fit.
Okay.
Because it is, according to some of the maids and servants, it is the headquarters of the Axe Pack here in Jozerstan.
Oh, God.
And they are, according to most, the biggest gang in the city. There are a couple other of the servants who say that there are some newcomers that are giving them a run for their money and building territory, but nobody really knows who they are. Precious little information. Other than that they tend to wear green.
Hmm.
That makes me very happy.
Yeah, you know who they are.
I do.
Speaking of doing, Heinrich, you're last.
Heinrich has left his room maybe twice in these entire 4 days. He's busy working on his project.
After the 4 days, you're absolutely done with it. You either stay in your room or you venture over to the workshop, which, thanks to Modeste, you can just come and go as you please and use their equipment. You need it for some things, but for most things you find that it is inadequate because this is cheap Dumont garbage and you're a fine Alfaxmos engineer.
Good.
However, during your long weekend here, you hear a knock at the door, and when you answer it, it is Kira. And she asks you if you know anyone named Almeric Frost, and you do. I don't know if you tell her or not, but Almeric Frost is your contact. He is the one who would run equipment from here to you across the border. And she asks if you know this person.
Yeah, I have, we have crossed paths several times, yes. What is the reason for inquiring this?
She reaches into her coat and pulls out a letter. She says it was addressed to Vcephalod, so I opened it and read it. But apparently, this friend of yours needs a little bit of help. It sounds far too dangerous and shady for me to get involved in, but well, since Vcephalod is dead, I figured maybe you would want to read it.
Yeah, I'll give it a read at least.
Alright, the letter is pretty rough. It is in a really shitty envelope that looks like it was kind of glued together from separate sheets of paper. And the writing is all scratchy. And when you whip it out and give it a read, apparently, Mr. Frost has been arrested by the Alfaxmos and is currently being held in the city of Alhamden, deep into the south, and he was writing to Vcephalod to ask, in his words, old man Heinrich to see what he could do about it and try to get him released.
Fuck.
So down south here, right? That was the city you mentioned?
That is correct.
Okay. Alright. Well, that's a distance.
Well, that explains why I never got that shipment. So he'll fold that letter up and tuck it in his coat pocket. It is quite a ways away. However, I will attempt to do what I can.
She kind of harumps and puffs herself up a little bit, and she says, well, it makes no difference to me. It sounds like dangerous business. Perhaps even beneath your notice, Herr Heinrich. And she has herself a trot away. Later on, during your working on the apparatus, Nadia comes into the room and she tells you that she overheard Kira talking with Demyan. She says that apparently he had gathered up Cephalod's notes on some kind of secure bags of holding, but Kira apparently couldn't make heads or tails of it. She said something about runes and a black spot, then she trailed off and thanked her servant and ran to her room and locked the door.
Does any of that sound familiar at all?
A little bit. You know that Cephalod was doing some real weird, wacky stuff with all sorts of evil-looking runes.
Oh yeah, the safe had runes on it, didn't it?
Indeed, indeed.
The locking bags should ring a bell too.
Yes, that would ring a bell as well, because I'm pretty sure Aramis and or Marjorie mentioned that at one point.
I think it was a half private conversation. I don't remember. It was probably pretty easy to overhear.
I think it was while we were traveling on horseback, so yeah.
I think it was on the way to Jozerstan.
But we were all in the carriage together, so you guys probably overheard.
Well, I mean, Heinrich, if you ask, Nadia says that she overheard. Herr Heinrich, I listen to all conversations. Nothing any of these people say goes beneath my notice. There will be no surprises, Herr Heinrich, I promise.
Thank you for this information, Nadia. And yeah, I'll go find. This is when I'm finishing, or am I still working on it?
This is when you're about done.
I finish up, and then I go find Marjorie and Dora Ramos to let them know.
Sure, since this is all at the very end, you guys can meet up again. Maybe at the dinner table? After your big long weekend, how does that sound? Unless you want to talk to her in private.
Is like the family and stuff at dinner too? Or is it just the party?
We could always wait till after.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather not bring that up in front of all of Modest's family. Considering, half of them are trying to kill him.
Yeah, sure. How about after dinner, then, when you guys are all by yourselves and the family
retire to a sitting room or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have your after dinner drinks and you go to a sitting room and you are all together with Kira and Modest and Nadia and Yara play. The gang's all here.
I figured Heinrich was gonna kick us off.
Yeah, he'll kind of make his way over to where Marjorie is at. It's like, I believe I overheard you talking to Aramis about I believe it was a bag of holding that would lock?
Wait, there is a specific kind of bag made by the Osipova family. It is one of her father's more famous creations, perhaps. I'm not entirely sure. I do not have an inventory list of his creations, but it is what I know of from the investigation. It is what was stolen from the victim. Why? Have you seen one?
I seen one. No, I've overheard another conversation about something similar recently, and he kind of glances over at Kira.
Where is it? Yeah, she like stands up. She like, I assume you walked over to talk to her and she just stands up from whatever seat she's sitting in. Like, where?
You would have to ask Kira that.
You look over and Kira is having a polite conversation with Madame Black. Aha! Aha!
That fucking laugh.
Every time.
I gotta do it to him.
It's a disease. Anyway, yeah, I guess Marjorie would she looks at Heinrich, and what is your interest in such a thing?
Oh, such a bag could be quite useful for my own projects and keeping them secure.
She slowly nods. Doesn't think that you're after what she's after, and she'll go to Kira and politely interject. Kira, I do not wish to bring up things of the past, but I do have some questions.
The smile fades from Kira, and she turns to you very upright and goes, Marjorie, I haven't seen you for a few days. You must have been very busy.
I've been exploring the city. It is important to be familiar. I have a feeling we will be here for some time. But my question pertains to the bags that your brother and father made, the ones that lock.
Familiar with anything in particular? Maybe any one in particular?
She furrows her brow and mostly investigating points of interest. Crosses her arms, raises an eyebrow. She's playing it cool.
You can tell that Kira is very unhappy about this, and she crosses her arms and matches your disposition as well. Good. One should always be familiar wherever they are staying, no matter how long or short their visit may be.
She mulls that over for a second, and I safely assume she's not going to answer the second question.
You can tell she's a little bit more focused. You might have to try from a different angle or try again. But you can tell that she's unhappy with you.
Yeah, she kind of, she shakes off the attitude and puts more of her professional investigator vibe on. Is like, I simply asked because of the investigation for Aramis and finding the murderer to his mentor. One of the Osipova bags was stolen from him, and I'm simply wondering if there are any hints to their whereabouts. Is there a special way to find them? Do they stand out in a particular way? I only saw a repeated magical image of one. I have not seen one in person.
Kira takes a deep breath and collects herself, and she tells you that she has only made a couple of Osipova bags of holding, but they're still in her possession. She has not sold them, and that all of the bags out there were made by her father and her brother. And she is still studying on how to properly make them. She has all of her brother's notes, but she's not 100% sure that she can either make one or alter one, but she tells you how to identify them when you see them.
Heinrich slides over into the conversation. I could probably help you with that.
And she sticks her nose up in the air and she says, "Well, if I require any assistance, I will let you know. Thank you for your kind offer, Herr Heinrich." But she tells you how to identify the bags. They tend to be black velvet with either gold or some kind of bronzy or coppery metallic thread. And the lettering is 2, 3, or 4 stylized O's inside each other, looking kind of like a bullseye or target.
She'd actually have a notebook out and kind of, doodle whatever it looks like and do her best to, take as many details, notes on it as possible. She even has she has an older, probably slightly more smudged image of the image that she got from, oh gosh, I forgot her name. The Seneschal or whatever, or Seneschal, I forgot her name.
The Seneschal.
Seneschal, yeah.
I know it's not her name, but for some reason, Seneschal soup is what came with me.
Vetreville.
Vetreville, yeah, yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, because she wouldn't have her whole name, because I don't think she. Oh well, she probably got introduced with names, but I just wrote Seneschal for her. But yeah, she has a bunch of notes on this that she got from the image too. But she thanks Kira and says it will be most helpful in the investigation, because that's what they're tracking right now. One of the bags. How close track do you keep of or does the family usually keep of said inventory? Would the buyer usually have to know you fairly well before they could purchase one of these bags, or could anyone buy them?
She kind of sighs and is a little frustrated with the question. She says, "Well, before the incident in Schliockerode, I imagine that our records were quite keen and well kept, but now everything is a mess. The notes, the records. I have no idea how many or to whom any of these bags were sold by my father and brother."
She backs off of it. I understand. A lot has changed in the past week. And she'll close her notebook and leave her alone.
You leave her alone, and she kind of grunts and sinks back into her couch. And it takes a few minutes, but Madame Black does get her spirits up again. "Aha! Aha!"
And it's after dinner right now, right?
Yeah, you guys finished up dinner. Papa Novikov didn't really say much. He kind of greeted you all, ate his meal, and then just left. Mama Novikov was not there at dinner. She was elsewhere. Timur tried to make eye contact with each of you in order to try and intimidate you, but he failed every single time and took his meal to his room. And you guys watched Valeria leave for the night. She was rubbing the back of her head, and she had her driver take her somewhere.
Do we think it would be a good night to go to the Hissy Fit?
You don't see why not.
Yeah, she proposes that it is the biggest lead we have. That and Club K. She looks at her notes. They seem like places we could go, and the people there may talk. Perhaps more likely at the Hissy Fit than K.
This is the only leads we have, so I see no reason not to.
She looks to Aramis and gives him a reassuring nod. We are overdue to follow up on the lead. So let us go.
Yes, I agree. I did a little digging of my own, and you are right. Seems like the Hissy Fit is going to be our best choice. Seems to be where more seedier things tend to happen.
All right. And I imagine we pack up to go to the Hissy Fit.
As we're on maybe the way out the door or on the road, on the road shortly after leaving, Ollie will approach Modest and say, "Are you familiar at all with any of the local scrolleries?"
You come up to Modest, and he's busy glaring at the back of Aramis's head, and he goes, scrolleries, yeah, sure. I think I've done some work for them in the past.
There happened to be one on the way to the club.
Oh, let me think. Ooh, hold on a sec.
Does anyone else smell
Oh my
toast?
god.
What's up?
Huh?
Oh, hold on.
Willing to bet he just closed everything?
Shut up. Modest thinks for a good long time, and he kind of makes a face, and he goes, "Ugh, on the way to the Hissy Fit, the only place I know of is Moosors."
Do they specialize in anything in particular?
The easier stuff, unless you want to pay, and unless you have connections. Although they do make a mean wand of paralysis.
You don't say.
My stupid brother won't shut up about it.
I know. He tried to commission me as well.
Wonder why. He kind of just stares off into the distance, oblivious.
Does anyone mind if we make a quick pit stop?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm wondering if I should change into something that I would blend more in with, because she looks down at her coat. She's wearing her riding leggings and riding boots, and she's wondering if she knows what is there a dress code for the Hissy Fit? Or I imagine most clubs have a particular expectation, right?
Modest, who wasn't paying attention until just now. Oh, the Hissy Fit. I might stay home for this one.
Oh, is that bad?
He glances over. Oh, they don't like my kind down at the Hissy Fit. I don't think any black hats are allowed.
You could always sneak in. And she shrugs. I mean, that's what we are going to be. Most of us are going to be doing. If they do not like you, I believe a good handful of us are highbrow as well.
You mean a disguise? He kind of pats down. Oh, but I like this shirt. I like this coat.
I'm sure you have something a little less obvious.
Ugh, maybe I could go look at some of my dad's old clothes. He shudders. You easily convince him. He goes and grabs himself a disguise.
If he needs help disguising whenever he's ready, she'll help add touches to make him harder to notice.
He comes back looking like an old man.
Oh.
His clothes are very out of date and unfashionable. And he's got a frown on his face.
She does she like just when you put your hand over your mouth to just kind of hide that you're like smiling or about to laugh. She does that, like she's doing her best. How oh gosh, what's the word? Hold on, I'm blanking on.
Antiquated.
Yeah, there you go. Because they don't have the word retro or whatever, but she would say like the equivalent. How oh, you know what?
Madam Black in the background. Historical, shall we say?
Yeah, exactly. She points to Madam Black like, yes, exactly.
Oh, how did my dad ever get married?
Arranged? Marjorie
Money.
raises an eyebrow. Yeah, money
The
and
answer's
arranged.
money.
Yeah, Ollie says money. Marjorie says arranged.
He kind of
One
looks
because
at
of the other. Either way, it would work.
like flops the frills of his shoulders. He's just like, ugh, I think this is old empire.
So I assume I don't
but
need to
yes.
like help him disguise even more. Is this sufficient?
This is sufficient. Yes, you can make him look less worse,
Uh,
but he doesn't look like a black hat.
When Modest says, this looks like the old empire, Ollie goes into a, well, actually, that would be this, 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 and this, because he goes into the, being the history buff. Like, the coat's the wrong length, not the right material.
Modest smiles and nods, and you can tell that he's very good at pretending to listen.
I imagine
I believe
he's.
you in Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just kind of one of those, I'm talking out loud, or thinking out loud kind of rambles.
Ollie, I believe you and my daughter would get along quite well.
Oh, it wasn't aware you had children here, Heinrich.
You think a well-established man like myself not
That's-
have children?
Not what I meant to imply, I just wasn't aware there was a missus.
Of Mrs. Heinrich.
Ah. Well, there is not any longer.
Sorry to hear that.
It was many years ago. It is. We had a very long, happy time together.
Does time do what they say and all that? Eases pain, however you want to spin it.
I don't know about that, but it becomes easier to live with. You get accustomed to it.
So still to Marjorie's original question. Yeah, let that hang for a second. But Marjorie like had asked if there was like, a dress expectation, like we're about to roll up there in like our everydays. Do they like still expect you to be like in a dress, slacks, etc. because it's a club?
It is not a white tie affair, but you are expected to dress nicely.
Okay. So Marjorie would come down in a not too fancy but nice dress with heels and a little hat on. She looks nice and styled. She's curled her hair a little bit so it frames her face real nice. got dat lipstick on.
Dat lipstick.
Yeah, just something that pops. So she looks nice, but not like overkill. Not like I'm going to the ball, but I'm going out for a night on the town kind of look.
The correct look.
Who in the party would want to try and explain to Daisy that she needs to dress different?
I mean, you would see Marjorie come down the stairs rather nicely dressed.
Yeah, but she knows you're posh, so she's not
Well,
gonna
sort
think
of, but
much
she's
of
been
it.
kind of wearing the same stuff on like, you know, outings. Like she's wearing kind of her riding clothes every other day because they're pants and not dresses. They're pants and her, you know, the trench coat and the knee-high boots. Like she's been dressed very nicely but practically. Now she's like, now you kind of look at her and like, oh, how are you gonna fight in that?
I assume you're trying to fuck someone then.
You
Daisy
can.
would just assume you're trying to fuck
Yeah,
someone.
yeah, I'm peacocking really hard.
And it's
Sure.
just like, that one's trying to get fucked. Okay.
What about the rest of you? What are you guys doing? Anything different?
The only thing Aramis is doing differently is he's taking the lion and rose pauldron off of his other set of armor and putting it on this his current one, and then he'll just pull a nice cloak over it all to kind of hide it.
Sure, because you kind of already, you got a fancy look about you. You got the hat. Ollie and Heinrich, you guys also kind of have the drip as well.
Yeah, since it's a
It comes
club,
naturally to us.
yes. Since it's going to a club, he is gonna just have his like vest and stuff. He's not gonna wear the jacket or the coat.
Yeah, sure. Who all are you bringing with you?
Well, Modest literally got dressed to go, and he's excited to be sneaky.
Which NPCs even want to go?
Be real, Yarrow Black to pickpockets.
He is already washing his hair and picking the bits out of his beard.
Aramis gives him some beard oil so he can comb it up nice.
I don't know if Black is into the party scene.
He'd probably stick out like a sore thumb.
Man in Black kind of folds her arms. She says, I've been to numerous balls and gatherings. Thank you very much. Ooh, but do I have a dress with me? Heinrich, when you look over at Nadia, she just says, this is everything I own. And just points to herself. In her armor and, like, garbage wear.
So, maybe a stop at a tailor for some pre-made digs.
Modest waves you off. Relax! My sister just left. You're like the same size.
Yes, I feel this is an appropriate thing to do.
At first, Nadia gets the angry eyebrows, but then she softens and goes, I suppose the chance to steal from your sister cannot be avoided.
Marjorie gasps, makeover!
Ugh. Alright, you dress Nadia like a doll. You want to give her anything in particular, or do you want to give her something simple?
I feel like she might rebel if I try and put her in anything special. So we'll baby steps, honey, baby steps. So I'll do something simple this time.
Alright, so you drag Nadia over to his sister's bedroom, which is all opulent and filled with stuff. Modest opens it for you. He knows the magical combination to her door. What are little brothers for?
Am I able to watch him do the combination?
Oh man, you can try. Roll a stealth.
Yeah, sure. What did you want me to roll for it?
A stealth.
Okay, good. At least it's over a 2.
Yeah.
Ooh, you do see most of it. You see about 90% of what you would need to do to get into her room. And you think you have a decent shot at getting past the rest, either on your own or with a little help. But Modest gets you into her room and opens up her wardrobe, and oh man, all the colors of the rainbow, dude.
Ugh, the world is my oyster. Oh yeah, I'll dress her up nice. Like, oh, I'm sure she won't mind this going missing. Oh, it doesn't look like she's worn this in a while. And yeah, I have a good old time dressing her up, and I have makeup too. I don't put too much on her. Again, I don't want her to like hate this. I dote on her. I'm obviously enjoying myself.
She is, of course, miserable. All of these clothes could easily feed an entire village for a year, maybe 2 years.
Yes, well,
Modest from the hallway. Oh, don't forget the jewelry.
oh, right. And I'll open like a whatever box nearby and just kind of fish something out that matches whatever I'm putting on her.
Oh no, Matt disappeared.
Oh yeah, I put all my creativity into her outfit.
Yeah, you give her that femme fatale look. Kind of unavoidable because of the scars.
Oh yeah, maybe we look a little similar. Like I'll make it look like we're a dangerous duo or something.
You give her the black and the fur.
Matt'll be back in a second. He kicked his power strip.
Nice.
Everyone laugh at Matt.
Ha ha ha. Aha. Aha.
Aw.
Absolutely wretched. You dress Nadia up, and she has a glum look on her face, and she just says, "This is all so obscene, but I do look pretty good."
You look marvelous.
She stumbles into heels.
I would make sure to give her low wedges, like so the heels are wide and low.
Oh, how do people wear these? And you give her the low wedges instead, and she has an easier time with those.
Yeah, see? Easy. Builds endurance in the calves.
Ooh, she thinks about that for a minute. She considers it.
Oh yeah, Marjorie, I assume no one else is like really in the room. Well, her dress is probably about like mid calf, and she's got great legs, so she's like shows off. She's wearing heels, and she shows her how to take steps a little easier. But yeah, see?
Oh, are you getting Daisy dressed up too?
Oh gosh, I don't think. Would a shirt fit her? Like, or I could get a shawl or something.
Daisy would like have noticed that everyone else is dressing up and would disappear to the garden.
Ooh, even better.
Okay. Yeah, Marjorie would like turn around with like a black shawl or something with patterns on it, and then see that she's gone. She's like, oh, And then look at Nadia and see if she knew, and I imagine she would shrug back.
Nadia's still looking in the mirror like, I don't think Valeria would miss these earrings. You finish up with Nadia. You dress her up real nice and pretty. And when you're in the hallway, you see Modest and Yaraplex laughing. When you come out, they just like, okay, shut up.
We pose next to each other.
Yeah, Modest gives you a round of applause, and Yaraplex just stares.
I pose with her. I have her pose like ham it up. You might as well have fun. It is an evening out where we are being sneaky. She kind of does a little spin and helps her down the hallway.
I must say, Nadia, you look quite handsome.
She sighs. Thank you, Sir Aramis. You are looking well this evening, too.
Was that a compliment? I think I am going to have some kind of stroke. I never expected this from you.
It was almost worth it when you almost died of stroke.
He'll give her a coy wink.
Oh, she gives you the angry eyebrow. Just Modest in the background, just, oh, is nothing enough for you? Whenever you turn around, Modest is just glaring at the back of your head.
Don't be so angry, my son.
Marjorie like heaves in the background.
Yaraplex holds him back.
Marjorie is a combination of disgusted and amused. She knows these games all too well.
He holds Modest back and he's like, no, don't, it's not worth it. But he like turns back to you, Aramis, he's like, good one, boss. No, don't do it, it's not worth it, don't, no, it's fine, you know, it's great. That was sick one, sick word. Good job, boss. No, there he is.
He returns.
Aha!
Aha! We all had a Madam Black laugh at you kicking your power strip.
It doesn't happen very often, but it's always at the best times.
Indeed. So Nadia goes arm in arm with Heinrich and Marjorie, and you guys go off to the Hissy Fit. Modest calls up his parents' carriage and has it take you guys to the club. And it is oh so fancy. It is mostly white with black and silver accents.
Were we gonna stop at the
The scroll place first.
Stop at the scroll place on the way
yeah.
there?
At Musor's. I almost forgot. Oh, yes.
I'll try to make this quick. I only intend on making a purchase or two.
See,
Depends
now
on if they have anything that I need.
Not to let you guys see behind the screen too much, but I do have a random generator for stores, and I don't think I'm ever going to use it again because God and nature and anime is on my side. So you guys do a little stop at a place called Musor's, and Modest tells the driver to halt in front of a very janky-looking building. The plaster facade is crumbling. It is about 4 stories tall, really skinny. It's like 30 feet across. And when you step out of the carriage, you just smell stink. Stink that burns your nostrils, but also you can tell that this place is pretty magical. Like you can feel it in your fingertips.
Well, Well, I certainly don't like the locale. Motivation to get in and get out.
All right, so Ollie, you hop on inside, and you are hit with like a wave of scents. It smells like books, and it smells like a Sentium and ink and everything all at once. It is a very long store. It has tons of rows of really tall shelves filled with scrolls and parchment and vellum. And there is a little magical ding dong when you open up the door. And the shopkeeper is behind the counter, and you hear him. Well, yes, I am on my way. Oh, don't worry, I am coming. And you hear wet slaps on the cobblestone floor as this tiny little red grung in a
Oh my
suit and tie with a little bowler hat comes running up to you, putting on a pair of white gloves, and he sticks out his hand to shake yours.
How tall are grung?
They're pretty short. They're like 3-4 feet tall.
Okay. I not quite kneel, but at least kind of approach that height to shake his hand.
Yes, very nice to meet you. I am Durak, and this is the store. What can I do to help you?
Just 2 points of interest. Do you happen to have any scrolls of invisibility? I also heard you guys carry wands of paralysis.
He like gets the. When you ask about the scrolls of invisibility, he just like nods. Yes, of course. And when you say wand of paralysis, he goes, "Wow, that's crazy! Where did you hear that? What other slander and was super? We don't. No, of course not. Where did you hear? Where did you hear that? Who said that?"
Ollie will just kind of like open up his jacket and show the it's like the pistol holsters that Brendan Fraser wears in The Mummy. They're just like under his arms, but it's that with wands. And so Ollie's just like, I'm a purveyor.
He kind of goes, he seems interested, and he takes one of the tips of the wands and gasps. Sorry, but forgive me for asking, but sir, if you're running Scriven's bees, why are you here in my store?
Let's just put it this way. I am a Scriven's bee. I just need a few things.
He like freezes in shock for a moment, and he like kind of panics. What? No way, a Scriven's bee here in my store? Oh my god. Calm down, Durak. Calm down.
Wasn't aware that the name got around as that much on this side of the world.
He does not. For most people, I am in the know.
Clearly a connoisseur of fine wares.
Part of the ceiling kind of crumples a little bit and starts dribbling water in the corner. Oh, what do you need, Master Scribensby? What can I do for you? You said a scroll of invisibility? Yes.
2, if you happen to have them. And perhaps less loudly, that other item I mentioned.
He like kind of looks back over his shoulder and he's like, oh, we'll see what we can do about that.
Sure. Ollie's just kind of standing there. I don't know if he's like, might have his arms crossed or like clasped behind his back, just like taking in his surroundings, maybe tapping his foot while he waits.
But yeah, he like fumbles under the counter for a minute. He just pulls out two wooden cylinders, and he says, yes, 2 scrolls of invisibility. He like pulls them out and checks them over, and you can see what he's doing, and they seem pretty legit. And he whips out his little mechanical calculator, and he like pulls the lever and stuff and gives it the old ding ding. He says, 30,000 gold each, so far 60,000, and now let's see if we can get you your other item.
I put one of the +1 wand blanks on the table and say, does this change those numbers at all?
At first, he like greedily takes it up, and then he looks it over. He looks kind of disappointed. He says, "No, thank you. I have plenty of plain blanks, but you know what I don't have?
Line blank.
I don't have any marked Scrivensby blanks."
Ah. Can I do an insight check to see if like this would be worth putting my name on these?
You can roll an insight if you want to.
No. He says sure.
Well, even with that, you would know that this guy's kind of shady, and it might not be the best idea to associate your name with him, especially with blanks, because you don't know what he's going to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
But you do know that your name is worth a lot of money. At least to this guy.
Yeah, I will, ooh. Here's an idea. I would like to make a woodcarver's tools check to put my name in it, but to make it verifiably false, so that it looks as though someone else was trying to replicate it, but that he would see it as the real deal.
It'd be a challenge, but you can do that. You can try it.
All right, let's give it a shot.
You get out your dies and your tools, and you carve the insignia in it, but you don't do that great of a job. You make sure to put in some minor imperfections.
Yeah.
And your boy looks over his shoulder and watches as he looks in the back for your item. And how many blanks are you doing this with?
I will go ahead and mark up all 3, but for now I only have the 1 on the table for him.
Well, he comes back out, and wrapped up in the equivalent of a paper bag. You've got a 40-ounce malt beverage in a paper bag here. He pulls out a genuine, bona fide wand of invisibility.
That works. Did you say wand or scroll?
I thought you asked for a wand.
Did you say... You said wand of invisibility.
Oh, no, you wanted a wand of paralysis. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
No, you pulls out a genuine, bona fide
wand of paralysis.
Bona fide wand of paralysis. And he clicks and clacks in his little dealio here, and he says, yes, well, the wand of paralysis is just a paltry sum, 250,000, no big deal. Click, click, clack, clack.
Whoo.
Yeah, that's more
That's
money than he has right now.
More expensive than the thing I wanted to do.
I mean, it is a
put it together with a couple little scrolls of invisibility, and you're looking at 310,000 with a finder's fee of 5,000, so 315. Big, toothy, grung smile.
Do you know how much the signed blanks take off yet?
Haven't figured that out yet.
Okay, that might make it a little more doable, though I'm not sure if the blanks are going to cut off that much.
Oh no, they're not. Ollie says, I'm traveling right now. I don't have those kinds of funds, but I know where to find you if I'm still interested.
Excuse me, sir, I forgot. He rolls the blank over towards him. He says, one of these, I imagine, could take care of. He rolls one of the scrolls, one of these.
And I pass over a scroll of detect thoughts. As well. Tis a second level spell.
Hold on a sec, I just fucked up. I do that a lot. It's alright, though.
Did you close everything again?
No, I opened more than I wanted to on accident. So the opposite.
Yeah, the opposite problem.
DMs either have nothing open or everything open.
Pretty much.
True.
Wait, there's things to open?
He hems and haws, and eventually he says, this would be a fair trade, I suppose. And he rolls the scrolls around, and basically, you get with the scroll and the one wand, you get him down to 250 grand for the wand of paralysis, and that's just with one of the wand blanks.
I think Marjorie would have walked in with, like, one of her handkerchiefs over her face, and she kind of overhears and walks up and she kind of leans in. You do not intend to actually give him this, do you?
Did he tell you about it?
No, probably not. So maybe not. Like, or what are we getting this for?
The scrolls are for making getting around a little easier, and there's a interested party in the wand. I'm going to have to hold off on the wand for now, but what say we trade 1 for 1 on the scrolls, and we'll call it good.
Marjorie, when he sees you walking up, he recloses the paper bag, he puts the wand back in the bag, and your boy says, yes, pleasure doing business for you, but I warn you, this is a hot item and it will move quickly.
I'm sure it will. Most things of such caliber do, but as I said, purveyor, and a little outside my
price
not
range
pay,
right now?
pay grade price
Yeah.
range. I was going to say it's
your budget
a little
right
outside
now?
my budget at the moment. Yeah,
Well,
he's like fishing through his ledger.
I don't suppose you have any more blanks?
Marjorie asks, like, how bad do you need the wand?
It's not a necessity. Useful, sure, but not a necessity.
I was going to say, if we are going to use it, I would have no problem assisting in some way. I look back at the seller. How honest do I think he's going to be that this is going to be gone soon?
Ha ha ha! Roll an insight.
See, this is I have rolled garbage all night.
This place is a dump and this guy is a shyster. But he may also be a criminal, so maybe could be a hot item. Wand of paralysis, good for murdering.
That's true. Yeah, she waits for Ollie to answer. Are we going to be using it?
I was thinking more for perhaps some leverage at one point or another, but no, not a necessity.
Oh, she nods.
Necessary business has been concluded.
She nods, and she'll leave you too if you have anything else to say, because she reads the room. This is a private interaction.
All right, so you get 2 scrolls of invisibility out of this in exchange for a blank and a scroll of, what was it, detect thoughts? Detect thoughts.
Yep.
You boys, it's a pleasure doing business with you. And when you come back, don't forget to ask for Durak.
Said Duroc.
I put it in the chat for you.
First name Dwayne.
Perfect.
Dwayne Duroc Grungson.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, what have you done? You've made a problem for yourself down the line.
Once I'm outside, I also wanted to look around to see if we're being followed. Just to kind of make sure. Do we have any babysitters or spies of any kind?
Yeah, sure, you can do that. Roll me either a perception or investigation.
Yeah, that's on track. What, I haven't rolled
The
over
night-
11.
The night is still young. You literally rolled a 14 for stealth. The night is still young. The streets are
dice
pretty
was
crowded. It's kind of dark. If somebody is following you, they're well hidden, and you feel like they will have difficulties following you, but you'll have more difficulties telling if somebody is following you. If worse comes to worse, you feel like you could probably lose somebody in the crowd.
Oh yeah, she's just a little curious as to how Kira seems so certain of what she was certain of. What was she spending her time doing?
What indeed?
Yeah, she kind of humps and gets back in the carriage. She'd also recommend that we get off short of the a little before the Hissy Fit, so no one sees the carriage. It's kind of themed.
What? You're making us walk? Come on!
Not far. Besides, midnight strolls, they're so wonderful and magical.
It's not midnight, it's like 8 o'clock.
Close enough. It's dark. She swats at him. You're like, you know what I mean.
Fine. He calls out to the driver to let us out infuriatingly close to the Hissy Fit, please. As you wish, sir. And so, Ollie, you get your stuff, head back to the carriage, and you guys get dropped off about a block away from the Hissy Fit, which you can easily see down the street because it is exploding with lights and sounds. Every once in a while, shooting up a little firework, sending out sparkles in all the directions. It's got magical searchlights that are swinging back and forth, and it has a big, fat, magical neon sign of what looks like a jazz band filled with cats playing instruments, and it's animated, and they rock back and forth on the saxophones and on the bass and so on and so forth.
Oh, no, my God. I imagine she didn't get quite this close of a look before, and it was probably daytime when she saw it. And now it's kicking, so she's like, yes, it's so cool. I can't wait to go inside.
The place is blasting jazz music, and you guys can feel it in the cobblestones underneath your feet.
I need to ask a question normally only Steve asks. Who has the highest passive perception?
You? And
That
me?
isn't me. That isn't me.
Me? I'm at 16. I'm the next highest.
Okay, you see that there's a rat near you that looks kind of dead.
Ugh. Ew.
It's moving still. Looks
Oh.
up at you.
Oh. Yeah, she looks like she's about to scream at first, and she stomps her heel and like, oh, damn it. It is you, isn't it?
So yes, it turns back into Daisy, but because Daisy went off to the garden and disappeared from it, Daisy's not wearing Daisy clothes. Daisy turns back into Daisy and is wearing a masquerade mask with branches that have flowers coming out of the top and a long, flowy, green, elegant dress made of moss.
Whoa.
Huh.
And she smiles at you.
Do I think this will pass pretty well?
Modest is thrilled. Papa Daisy, look at you! You look like $1 million. Maybe $750,000, but you look like $1 million, more or less.
I assume she thinks it looks neat. I don't think it's gonna be.
It's way fancier than this place probably wants.
Oh, it's like a ball gown of moss.
It's like a ball gown of moss and these beautiful, like, twig antlers with flowers on top and a masquerade mask, and she's just smiling.
Well, no one will ask then. It is fine. I'm sure plenty of people take the night as an opportunity to dress up. She gestures to herself and Nadia, case in point. Let's go. I want to. Is there a line?
Oh, yeah.
How long is the line?
Around the block.
Ooh. So I would have planned for this. I've got my guitar with me. Kind of look at the rest of the party and kind of think for a second. Oh, do you think we could pass as performers? I know I could. She asks, does anyone else play anything?
I could be your manager.
Okay. She looks expectingly at the rest of the party. Even as a passing, something you could fool someone with, at least superficially.
Hmm.
She sighs. A no would suffice.
I have a great many talents, but the artistic ones are beyond my grasp.
She looks down at Daisy, and she pulls out her flute, because she also has a flute. It doesn't look as well loved as the guitar. You wouldn't happen to play anything, would you? I imagine the flute looks really weird. It's like metal tube with buttons.
She's so confused, yeah.
She strums her guitar and then gestures to the flute. It does not matter. Just someone. She holds her hand out. She holds the flute out to like someone to take. We can pretend to be performers, and one of the acts. It would get us past this line.
I only play the heartstrings, unfortunately.
The what?
The heartstrings.
Oh. Well, let us hope the bouncers are susceptible to such music. And she'll well, someone else could be set the stage too. So that's a pass for two people, the manager and then Heinrich's the tech guy,
Oh yeah, that works.
the stage tech, and then Aramis is maybe a bodyguard. That seems to be a pretty standard. And Daisy is my
Groupie.
a groupie. She looks at Modest and Nadia. Are they the and Yaroplek? We brought Yarrow also.
Don't look at me.
Oh yeah. Nadia, do you play anything or something we could at least use to get in the door?
She kind of scratches her nose. Maybe the fiddle sometimes.
Hmm. She kind of makes a face.
She looks very nervous about it too.
Yeah, she shrugs. Perhaps you could have just carry this, and then she would get the flute. Do not drop it.
I wasn't planning to. For the first time, she looks very nervous.
Most excellent. And then, what does that leave? Yarrow and well, Daisy's gonna be the groupie. Or she's makeup. She's makeup. Daisy's makeup because she's all dressed up. There you go. She's here for the natural vibes.
Modest kind of waves you off. He says, "Relax, I've got this."
You're not supposed to got this. You're supposed to be inconspicuous.
He goes, "Oh, fine. We will see how you do then. I will rely entirely on you to get me into this exclusive club."
She raises an eyebrow, and she'll look at the time to make sure she's aware. And I would be familiar with how gigs are usually set up.
Yeah, sure.
So I would know what one of the later shows would be possibly for the timing, and that we're supposed to we're a small number. We're only supposed to do like 2 songs or something to mix it up, and that's it. So like something that would have been easily forgotten or missed.
We're opening for someone.
Yeah, or an opening. Yeah, someone else couldn't make it. Or no, because then that would require us knowing a name. She'd actually... You could provide some information. Do you know any of the managers or anyone inside? That would be helpful.
The only guy I'm ever here for is Nish Nyols. Oh man, and if I was opening for Nish, he like puts his hand over his heart and stares up at the sky. His eyes get all dreamy and watery.
Perhaps, I wonder if you think he is playing tonight? Do they have a, you know, a lot of places will have a thing out front that says who's playing tonight. Do they have one of those? A billboard and stuff?
Modest,
Marquee.
when you ask who's playing tonight, Modest kind of like gets a derpy face and then gasps, "Oh, but it's Nish!" He like shoves a bunch of people in line out of the way so he can look at the marquee, and he's like squeal. Who's playing? Tonight only!
Okay. So perhaps we could say we are his warm-up crew? We are supposed to only do 1 or 2 songs before him? I assume it says when it is, and hopefully the timing lines up.
Oh, you don't have much time!
Oh yeah, so she hurries everyone along, and she's got the guitar over her shoulder and in her hands like she's been warming up. She strums a few notes as we run up, and she'll hail whoever's at the door.
All right, you guys mosey on up to the entrance, and a crowd of people is waiting to get in behind a bunch of velvet ropes, and they are all super pissed to see you. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, why are you getting in front of us? Who are these jokers? And a very large, muscly gator folk gentleman walks up to you guys. He holds up his hands and he says, "Where do you guys think you are going?"
Marjorie, like, was wide-eyed at first. I imagine he looks pretty intense. He looks pretty cool.
He has himself a fedora, a white dress shirt, and a little black vest.
I guess her first, she probably doesn't see a whole lot of these guys. because Marshland here, and she was just a pleasure to meet you. She just looks him over like he's fascinating, and then shakes her head. Sorry, we are the pre-show for. I'm sorry, what was his name? She would know his
Nish Niels.
name. Niche Niels. Oh my god. you've made a name I can barely say.
At least there's not another B name.
Niche Niels. There we go. If I can see it, I can say it. Okay, so Niche Niels. And it is only one or two songs. I'm probably gonna go with our carriage broke down the street, and we had to run the rest of the way.
Your horse broke down.
No, the wheel, like a wheel or something, broke on it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like she's and
It just broke down.
And see-
Horse just
yeah.
died.
yeah, the horse just died. No,
Sorry, our pony threw a rod.
right through her eye. I know something was wrong with the carriage, and we had to hurry here on foot. I am sorry we were so late. And she would look hurriedly at like a dainty little wristwatch on her wrist, and we do not have much time.
He goes,
She's got the guitar and everything.
yeah, right. I hear it every day. Some starstruck little fanlet wants to make her way into the best club in town and spins a tale. So why don't you go ahead, give it a shot. Play me a few bars.
Oh, of course. Oh, she was freaking born for this. So, let me see. What do I got here?
Play me a few bars if you even can.
She would pull to mind like one of her best known, but very like something Castilian, so something Spanish. And
I got
she'll,
you.
yeah. I'll give you a second to turn it on.
And then you can hit me with a perform.
Can it be an advantage if Daisy helps?
How are you gonna help?
Okay, so looking over all of my stuff, Druidcraft allows me to create sounds from nature, including an animal sound. Now, wood thrushes have a flute-like song, so Daisy would like to whistle, and the sound that comes out will instead be the sound that a wood thrush makes. Daisy would like to keep in time with Marjorie, but with the wood thrush's flute-like song.
Oh my god, fuck yeah, you can. You get advantage on this.
Oh, so
Alright. Just let me know when to start it.
okay, yeah, go ahead and start. I'll just roll the performance. What advantage you said?
Yes.
Wow. You know what? I feel super bogus. I probably don't feel like that's good enough, do I?
No, he like taps along. He looks at Marjorie and Daisy. He goes, yeah, all right, that's pretty good, and you're pretty hot, and your friend is weirdly hot. Yeah, I guess you can both go in. But if you cause any trouble, you're going to come back out here and meet the teeth. He clacks his jaws a little bit.
Oh, she gasps appropriately and gives him a little wink, and then slides inside with the group.
Daisy tries to copy you and winks at him.
Perfection.
Oh, his eyes whiten, and he turns a little red.
Aw.
He unclicks the little velvet rope for the two of you, and then reclicks it for Ollie. Hold on a second. Who are you, fancy pants?
He stops me.
Yeah!
I just cross my arms and say, I'm her manager. She doesn't go to a single gig without me. She's terrible with numbers.
He thinks for a moment and goes, manager, huh?
Yeah, and I pull out a ledger and I start going through it really quickly, like I'm just flashing through papers and documents and all this kind of thing.
He unclicks the velvet rope and goes, oh god, the numbers, get out, get away from me. And he
Works
lets
like a
you
charm.
through. He lets you through, but he re-clicks it. for Heinrich. Well, you don't look like you belong here. Well, don't tell me you're part of the crew, too.
Heinrich holds up some of his tools and jingles them in his hand. Yeah, of course. I need to set up all the effects.
Effects? He kind of goes cross-eyed a little bit. Utterly incomprehensible. He unclicks it for you and Nadia. He's like, ooh, I did. She's like, look, get the bands. No, that's more like it. Oh, I pushed my luck with the green lady. And he re-clicks, he lets Heinrich and Nadia through and re-clicks it for Aramis. No way that one lady has a crew this big. What are you doing here?
Me and my dwarfen companion are bodyguards. You know, rabbit fans, how they could be. It is why you are here, no?
Bodyguards? He looks at you and Yaraplex. Nah, I don't see it. Prove it. Show me some of your fighting bodyguard moves.
He will sleight of hand before he even finishes his sentence, whip out his flintlock and point it at him. Be like, you see?
Oh, pretty dangerous. He looks around. What? Where's the other guy? Yaraplex is already behind him.
And he is, good at getting behind the enemy.
He scratches his head and he's like, oh, I don't think I'd be able to keep you out if I tried. Alright, but don't cause any trouble. You can't outrun the Jaws. He clacks his teeth.
No worries, my friend. We are not here to cause trouble. We are here to prevent it. And he'll, pat his cheek and walk through.
Ollie overhears that last bit, and as you walk through, and just says, well, actually, we've proven quite well that you can outrun the Jaw. All it takes is a little bit of smoke.
Yes.
Your boy unclicks the little velvet rope and lets you guys in. He lets in Aramis and Yaraplex, but then he re-clicks it for poor Modest. No way that this group is this big just for one lady. What are you, a drink holder? And Modest says, no, I am the comedian. I'm going on right afterwards. No, you are not. A comedian before Niche? No way. And Modest kind of sighs and he says, you're right, you got me. I am no comedian at all. In fact, I am not surprised you found me out, what with that vest and all. Huh? You know, your vest. You do know what this vest makes you, don't you? What the vest makes me? Modest leans in and he says, an investigator.
Oh my god.
And the alligator man's jaw opens wide, his eyes even wider, and he goes, you are a master of your craft, sir. And he unlocks, he unclicks it and lets Modest through.
Nice.
You'll see, I have the best plan. Fucking investigator! Genius!
It gets a little pat on the arm, like, hurry up, let's go. If we are going to be on the stage, should we? We should. Yeah, she's so excited. She's all hyped. I know we did not come here for this, but people would be willing to talk to us if we perform.
Modest is all smiles until you mention going on stage, and then he is all panic and frowns. What? No! I can't go up on stage. People will see me!
What? Why not?
Relax.
People see you all the time.
You can help me out off stage.
I'm the only one going on?
Oh my god! Don't do this to me! Marjorie, you can't!
What do you mean people are looking at you all the time?
His eyes start darting around, and he's like, oh, I feel like Yaraplex, stop looking at me!
She kind of sighs. Fine, you don't have to go up this time. She kind of gives him a pointed look. But I think it would be fun to perform together.
Don't worry, I'll help you or something.
So he instantly falls apart.
The idea of being on stage terrifies Modeste, but yes.
Besides, we're
Nope.
dancing later. People will watch that too. And she'll hurry off towards the stage.
Oh, Daisy's coming with you. You're a
Yeah.
duet now.
Right? Well, Nadia has the flute. You could also pretend to be doing the music from her flute.
No. Daisy doesn't understand what the flute is.
Okay.
Daisy, you know what a flute is.
Yeah, but that's metal. That's not a flute. Flutes are wooden.
It looks similar though.
Daisy, you know what a frickin' flute is.
And I could also show you. I would also show you what it does. She
tastes
plays
weird
it.
because it's metal.
Well, she'll play it. Like, and you don't have to actually play it. You could still use the druid craft to make the sounds.
Daisy will reluctantly have the metal flute, even though she hates every second of it because it's metal.
Heinrich,
Yes.
I'm having a bit of an idea if we're trying to now turn this into an actual impressionable stage performance. Do you have means of casting light on a small object? Like a focused beam of light, that kind of thing? Maybe you could rig up a bullseye lantern or something?
That should be easy enough.
I'm having an idea, and I lean in and whisper to Heinrich, and I'll whisper Heinrich, and I will then whisper it to the DM, and we can do it when it is appropriate.
Okay. Because I also
Sure.
have I can have 3 prestidigitations running at the same time.
Yeah, me as well.
So we could really make the show kind of nice.
Yeah.
Well, you guys charge into the Hissy Fit, and it is an enormous club filled with all sorts of bright colors and Art Deco flourishes. And there is a gigantic jazz band on the main stage right now, and they are utterly banging it. There's a huge bar filled with people wearing all sorts of glittery dresses and suits and what have you, and they're all clamoring for drinks and stuff. The tables are all packed and crowded, and everybody's talking and yelling and yammering away and having an excellent time. A layer of cigar and cigarette smoke hangs in the air, and the whole place just smells like a banging club.
Marjorie seems to know her way around well enough. Not that she's been here before, but I assume there's some similarities to past clubs. And she'd at least head to the stage, since I think we were in a hurry because Niche is gonna play soon.
Yes, he is. He's coming after this jazz band, and after a brief intermission.
All right, and we could just fill the intermission.
Let's do it.
Daisy can also make glowing embers above us. Harmless embers, but glowing. Pretty.
Oh.
Because I have
Fancy.
elementalism.
Oh.
Look at me and all of my spells that are mostly useless.
Until they're suddenly not.
I just keep taking all of the, here's a flavor text spell.
Okay, so you guys push through the crowds and make your way backstage. You do a similar routine with the guys watching backstage, but they let you through. More alligators and vests, if you will. And there are tons of dancers doing their makeup, tons of people with instruments practicing, some people winding down because they're going off in a few minutes. And you get up next to the stage and you await your opportunity.
She looks to she Marjorie's looking down at the guitar at first, and she's like doing a few practice notes, and she says, "Oh, I do have a performing name if someone does ask."
Probably good.
Uh,
I'm your manager, so let's have it.
I am Arabesque.
I like it.
Or Ara, either one.
So no shit, there you guys are. In backstage at probably the biggest club in town. You have lied your way in,
Mm-hmm.
and now you are about to have a chance to steal an intermission and play some music. The gigantic jazz band that has taken the stage wraps up with a fabulous end to their performance with a bunch of crazy magical lights and Ascentium lasers pew-pewing all over the place. And they get a massive round of applause and screaming cheers from the hundreds of people that are watching. And they all take their bows, and the lights dim, and they start making their way off the stage. What do you do?
I take a few minutes, and use some ice magic and spell slots as needed to create a the best way I can describe it is just kind of like a jagged semi-spherical shape that's kind of oblong out of ice. I kind of like a football, but bigger and jagged.
Okay.
And clear. That's the important part, is that it's clear.
Like an ice sculpture?
Yeah. But I've got frost fingers and ray of frost and ice knife and other things that I can throw at it.
You've got a few minutes to do Ray of Frost if you want to just do that.
Sure. So, but I get this and I make it and it's magical and it just needs to not melt for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, sure. The intermission is about 15 minutes long, so you guys have plenty of time.
Cool. So
Any
I
other
hold
preparations, or continue.
I hold this up to Heinrich and say, "This is my idea. Just need some light shining into it."
Yes, I think I can work this out.
And do they have stage lights set up already and stuff?
They do. They've got tons of both mundane and magical systems for light shows. They've got miniature Ascentium ley lines going to and from, like, magical spotlights and stuff. Some are in the stage, some are in the ceiling, pointing down. Why? What did you want to do?
Are any of them like spotlights?
Yeah.
I just want to take, commandeer one for my own uses, so I can shine it on this ball of ice.
Sure, you mosey on over to some of the lights.
Maybe focus it a little more so it'll, be a brighter effect.
Yeah, you start messing with it, changing some of the settings, kind of messing with the aperture there. And a couple of halflings with beers in their hands kind of walk by, and one of them stops and takes a couple steps back, and he says, "Hey, what are you doing with my lights?"
Sorry, I will restore it as I found it once our show is over. But you are going to like what you see with this.
Show? What show? Nishni Ols is going on next, and I already have it set up for him.
He's not here. We are opening for him.
Kind of scratches his head. I didn't hear anything about openers.
It was a bit of a last-minute addition.
Kind of makes a face at you. Roll a deception for me.
Uh-oh. And Olfaxmo's lying. Ooh, it really wanted to be that 5.
It did.
It's a miracle. It is a miracle as Heinrich, the Alfaxmos guy, manages to successfully lie to someone. He kind of scratches his, all right. No, you remember the settings?
Of course. I am a professional.
Heinrich, you are totally a professional, and you, like, read back to what the original settings were. And he was just like, oh, okay, and nods. And it just, like, trots off. Oh, I wonder what they're going to play. Nish never has anybody opening for him.
Perfection.
So out of the ordinary, and equally as unlikely. Humba-dumba-dum.
Delightful.
Are there any more preparations?
I just gotta put this thing out on stage with Marjorie when she walks out.
Well, I think the curtains are down right now, aren't they?
Right now the lights are dim.
Oh, so we could just walk up there and start setting up.
You can indeed.
Okay, I could... Well, no. Some of the stronger boys would have to help, but I could go with you and get set up. And I would use at least one of my 3 prestidigitations to make my dress, to jazz it up a little more so I look a little more fancy, at least temporarily.
Alright, you proof your dress
Hmm.
with a prestidigitate.
It's much more sparkly now.
And what do you need muscles for?
Bring the ice
I'm sorry.
sculpture up on stage.
Oh,
No, it's not that
do you
big.
need- What do you need ice sculpture? What do you need muscles for? Hello?
It's just slightly larger than a football, so Ollie's just carrying it.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so we'll...
Oh, so it's football shaped and sized. Got you.
Yes. Correct.
Well, let's get the show on the road, and she's all... She looks jittery, but like in the excited way, not the nervous way.
All right, so Ollie walks out with you, and wherever you set up on stage for like where you're going to be most of the time,
Yeah, she's
probably
center
centrally,
stage.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
He takes the little ice football and suspends it, or like holds it up in the air above your head. And I just got the image of you look like a sim right now with the little green diamond over your head.
Nice.
But he lets go, and it stays floating there in space, and it starts spinning slowly as he casts Scrivensby's Transliminal Lathe on this piece of ice.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, look at you. See, this is why I got my eye on you.
So I'm just choosing to not spin it rapidly, just
Much as slow.
spinning it slowly,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah, you
vertical
can-
axis instead of horizontal on this one.
Yeah, you can control the spin.
And then I look to find Heinrich at the spotlight, and I'm just like pointing at it. And then I head off stage.
I will do the thing. Shine
So-
that bad boy
we
right
might not
on.
even need any other lights.
So when the light hits it, it's like the interior of it is like the. It's like the.
It's like a disco ball.
And yeah, but it's like the consistency of ice that looks like it has water running through it. So when the light hits it, it just cascades, and as it spins slowly, it just looks like there's. The whole room is getting the underwater effect right now.
All right. So the light hits your disco ball, and it gets that wavy underwater feeling going all over the ballroom and all through all the tables and even the balconies and stuff. And all of the people who were expecting an intermission, all the people kind of, look around and go, oh, there's one of those Arus going across the room right now.
And Daisy, you're with me, right?
Yep.
Yep. Are you just standing next to me, or you have like a stool or something, or?
Can Daisy have a chair?
We could have brought you a chair.
Daisy would like a chair.
Okay, we'd bring you.
I've communicated with none of you. Daisy's going off context clues only.
Modest
here.
would have brought you a chair.
Well, I'm helping.
Yes, you are. Now, hurry before you're stuck on stage. You please. Alright. Basically, the second, like for dramatic effect, she do those little flourishes with the guitar. And then I guess, can I use prestidigit? No, that's thaumaturgy to amplify sound. I can only do mostly, I think I can do visuals and smells with prestidigitation.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so.
Well,
Ooh.
Heinrich, you're at the controls. There are a bunch of different light and sound controls backstage where you are.
Do I understand what the sound controls, like how to do it?
You can certainly try. Make me a tools check. Let's go with the tools check.
You got it.
Marjorie, you do your little flourish as a bit of a sound check. And Heinrich, when you're listening to her do it, you kind of push some sliders all the way up, and you can tell that whatever noise Marjorie makes is now booming through the entire building.
Cool.
Sick. And the disco ball thingy is making like water ripples, right, on the walls?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll use my 2 other prestidigitations to make the area smell like the ocean, but not like the bad ocean smell, just like the salty water smell, minus all the fish and nasty stuff.
Yeah, we get it.
All the romantic smells.
I would then use elementalism to put a thin cloud of harmless embers above us. What colours would we want them? Well, under the water, because it can be embers of any colour.
Oh, okay. Maybe we could do something that complements, or at least
I was
plays
thinking
off of the blue, like
a turquoise or a green.
yeah, or like a. That if it was like a teal, it'd be the same color as her eyes.
Okay, sure, teal.
Yeah.
So
Sick.
teal-coloured embers floating above us.
Yeah. And then
I'm gonna be a
okay.
canary this time.
You're gonna be what?
A canary.
A canary this time. Okay.
Said it's fast in Spanish. We'll go canary this time.
Okay.
So the people at these tables who are in the middle of like getting more food and drinks and shuffling around because it's intermission time, they see a bunch of weird wavy lights go on, and they hear a very exotic Castilian guitar suddenly get very, very loud. And when they all look over towards the stage, they see the lights going up on Marjorie, and then a bunch of glowy teal embers appearing in the air and floating about. They are, for the moment, mesmerized.
And then I guess she would launch into I guess the first piece would be like mid-length, well, because she's probably not going to fill the whole 15 minutes, because then Niche would need time to come on stage. So she'll launch into one of her favorite Spanish guitar pieces.
Make 3 performance checks.
Are any of them at advantage because Daisy's helping?
I'll say that all of them are at advantage, because you guys did a very good job at helping.
Okay. So 1. I might re-roll that. Let me see what the other ones turn into. Better. Wow, okay. I'm gonna re-roll the first one with an inspiration.
Go for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank goodness. Alright. Killing it.
All right. You start off slow, trying to ease these people into some emotions they're not used to feeling. You go a little bit full Celestine on the first minute or two, and you get lost in music. Then you kind of realize all the stuff about this is supposed to be an intermission. Nishniels needs to come on, and so you speed it up, and it goes from like the slow emotional piece to just like super banging.
I speed up the disco ball.
And Ollie matches the rhythm of the colors and the light show with your music. And Daisy switches in between very appropriate sounding birds to give you sort of a high-pitched backup assistance.
This is so Celestine. Bird calls combined with guitar with ice sculpture lighting. Hey, so this is like some of the avant-garde shit that Modest likes.
You glance backstage and you see him just like beaming. You see him mouth so weird.
It's beautiful.
Is Marjorie singing at all, or is this just pure instrumental?
Probably the middle part would have like a spry tune that goes with it that she would sing, I guess, in Celestine. Or the Celestial, because that's the more that's the highbrow language from the Celestine Empire. So she would utilize that. So it sounds extra romantic.
Marjorie, people are feeling it. They're feeling it pretty good. You see the couples in the booths smoozing, getting close. Sometimes too close. It's that kind of club. And eventually, you decide to wrap it up, and you give it a very action-packed, dare I say, crescendo, where you start popping those strings and almost break your guitar because you're into it too hard. And the crowd, once you are done, Ollie and Heinrich basically halt the light show, and it all goes dim. And all the people at their tables like give you a mad applause, and a bunch of people whistle and stuff. You can tell that you did a very good job. And when the lights on the stage go down, you can see dead center in one of the balconies, you can see the silhouette of a minotaur and a bunch of guys in fedoras, and they're all slow clapping you.
I think you got some attention then.
Oh, we'll get to meet fellow musicians. She kind of does the shifty eyes.
We'll let you do the talking.
She shrugs innocently. She kind of shoulders her guitar now that we're off stage, and oh, Daisy, that was wonderful. It all went so well together. And she talks at Daisy for a little bit.
Daisy is staring at you because nobody's currently talking with her, so she's just staring.
So staring at Marjorie talking at her. Like,
Yes.
one of these days I am going to be able to communicate a bit more effectively, but today is not that day. let us go meet the show that is going on next. And I imagine we only have like 5 minutes for that.
About 5 to 8 minutes or so. You very quickly pack up all of your things, everyone, and you make your way off stage. And you basically run headlong into about a dozen guys in suits and jackets, and several of them are twirling axes and hatchets in their hands. And in the middle of them, in a white suit, is an albino Kenku with kind of pink-looking eyes. And he takes out the red handkerchief he has in his pocket and kind of wipes his forehead and he goes, my, Castilian guitar. I can't say we ever heard that in the club before, have we, boys? And he turns back to all of his boys, and they all shake their heads no. Didn't think so. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure the boss doesn't have no openers. Ain't never had, ain't never gonna have, at least after tonight. But he was so very interested in your unique routine that I do believe he wants to see you in his office so he can ask you a few questions.
Is that supposed to be a pun?
Marjorie's glancing at Modest like one of those, man, this would have been a great detail to know earlier that he was the boss. But she clears her throat. That, oh, I would be honored. He is niche, correct?
Yeah, Niche Neols. You may have heard of him. Perhaps the single most famous musician on all the core empires.
I'm pretty music savvy now that. I mean, I probably should have rolled for it before, but does he sound familiar?
Not really.
Oh.
I was gonna say, I thought the most famous singer was Billy Vole.
Oh yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
First of all, the most famous singer is definitely Eggert.
Oh, that's
well,
true.
you can understand why the Axe Pack would never admit that.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, she apologizes. Apologies. I am from. Well, obviously not from here. I was not aware that this was his establishment and he was the niche. But yes, of course, I would love to have a word with him. I'd be honored to meet him.
He looks over to you, Heinrich, at your pun comment. He says, nah, if I wanted to tell you a pun, I'd ask Mr. Comedian over here. And he turns to Modest. Go ahead, Mr. Comedian. Tell me what you got. I'm no investigator, but I think I can manage a chuckle. And Modest, like, deer in the headlights, and he just goes, what's the matter, big boy? Cat got your tongue? No, it's just, I'm addicted. What? Addicted to brake fluid. What? Well, it's okay, because I can stop anytime I want to.
Perfection. the jokes keep rolling.
Deep in the background, the alligator guy, fucking genius.
Marjorie smiles good-naturedly. It's like, wonderful. Please. And she gestures for him to lead the way.
The Kenku guy just like freezes in place and kind of goes a little crock-eyed, and his boys lead you up to Nishniel's office. He just goes down on all fours. He's like, I don't know who this guy is, but I hate him.
Marjorie, while we're being walked up, Marjorie's like,
Modest is
I
found.
did not know you knew vicious mockery.
Modest has found his own Frank.
You can Modest get like a vicious mockery style ability on his sheet that's just terrible puns.
No, because it relies on me knowing terrible puns.
Come on. And you don't.
No, I'm like panic making these.
I feel like that's how Modest would as well. It should be like a 1 use a day thing, but do like 2d6 psychic damage.
I'll think about it.
Yeah, you can
I
call
mean,
it punishing behavior.
I mean, this dude was about to give you tons of guff, but Modest broke him.
Exactly. I feel like it needs to be an ability now.
I'll think about it. We'll look into it. I'll have my people talk to your people.
You have people.
Yeah, Nikki.
Oh no.
No,
Wow. I don't know why you made that noise. I don't appreciate that.
I meant Rain.
Unbelievable.
All right, we head up to this office. Marjorie's just trying to deflect as much as she can as like some innocent traveler who's like always eager to like put on a show, and like she's like so excited to meet Nish.
You go up to Nishniel's office, and he's got himself a gigantic oak desk. The lights are all dimmed and moody. All of his boys are hanging out in like chairs and on couches and stuff, smoking cigars, so it's all like smoky and misty inside. He has multiple gramophones, and the walls are covered in all kinds of records. Not all of them are his, but just all kinds of records. He's got a record collection. And he's in a big old swivel chair, and he turns around, and he's a real extra fluffy minotaur with sunglasses, and he is smoking himself a pipe. He goes, well, not every day I get to listen to something so exotically groovy. He kind of leans forward, but you made a very calculated risk. A whole lot of bad things could have happened. So tell me, why'd you do it? Was it just to see me, or did you have something else in mind?
Oh gosh, what do we want to go with? Does he look like someone that Gabrielle would have been able to get into contact with? Probably not easily. Cause like she's trying to weigh her like options here, like, are we just here for like we're gonna claim we were here for funsies to meet him, or that we were actually here for something?
I mean, I think here for something isn't a bad idea, because you could say, yeah, we were just using it to make ourselves a little credible so that we could talk to who we wanted to talk to, figure out what we wanted to know.
Oh, so I guess Marjorie could paint it as it is. Is it wrong for like maybe something like is it wrong for a new girl in town to want to be seen and talk to who's who and what's what? And like, do you think I should spin it like that? Like she's looking for people, important people to talk to. What do you guys think?
He
Spin it
goes,
like that? Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Well,
and
that
then
depends on
gauge it from there.
That depends on who you want to talk to and why. Because I must say, I do not recognize you, Arabesque. The Celestine Empire's a little far away from my stomping grounds.
It is. Do you guys want me to jump into the investigation a little bit? Or I guess she could start with, I have been looking for somewhere to express my art. Back at home, blend in a little bit. It is nice to be somewhere where you stand out. But I would be lying if I was not here for also seeking answers to some questions that I have followed a little trail of. Nothing to deal. She assures him it's nothing to deal with like the actual facility or probably anyone who's actually here. She's just looking for someone, a friend of hers, and she thinks her friend's in trouble. Or she's worried her friend's in trouble.
That sounds appropriate.
Old Nish kind of lets out a little whistle. He goes, missing friend. This could go in a whole lot of different directions, but most of them are south. Be real careful with the words you use with me in this.
Oh, of course. I am not here to stir up too much trouble. She gestures at the guitar. Maybe some musical trouble, but nothing other than that. I am. Hold on, let me grab my notes real quick. Notes. I believe she was worried or scared when she left Castile, but her name that I assume she is going by is Gabrielle. She would have been here asking about something magical. She shrugs as if she's not 100% sure what it was. And I would give a vague description. Or no, I'm her friend. I would give a pretty detailed description of her. Like as if we actually were tight.
He nods along. He takes a big old drag from his pipe and fills the room with some more smoke, and he leans back and he says, say I do know who this is, hypothetically. Say also that I know who this is, because maybe she contacted me in a method similar to your own, because she also required the services of the most grand and available axe pack. Perhaps assume also in this hypothetical that secrecy was involved. Why should I tell you anything? How do I know you're not a manhunter? How do I know you don't work for Redfield or worse?
Oh, Redfield never. She waves her hands as if that's like a gross concept. But no. She kind of thinks. Do I have anything? I don't think I have.
Aramis would speak up and say, perhaps she made mention of me. I am one of our closest friends. My name is Aramis. Aramis Leflame. I assume she would have known that I would have been on her trail. I only wish to help her.
Nish kind of chuckles. Hypothetically speaking, of course. Let us assume she mentioned no one by that name. And of course, also hypothetically, if you don't know where somebody is, and they're hiding and running from you, they tend not to want your help.
I would assume not. She's always been rather headstrong, but sometimes we help those who need it and are unwilling to admit it, no?
He chuckles and snorts some smoke out of his cowy nostrils. Just, you sound like my old man.
Somehow I don't think that's a compliment.
Maybe, maybe not. Where are you from, young man?
I am from the Celestine Empire. If you are asking where I was born, or if you're asking where I spent most of my time, so they're two different places. Most importantly, I'm from Castile.
He puffs a couple more puffs and goes, who you working for?
I'm working for myself, but I am a part of the Order of the Lion and the Rose, as Gabrielle was. Is.
Working for yourself, huh? Elaborate.
She is. Was my love, and I am trying to save her from the world of danger she finds herself in now.
There's a bit of a pause, and the X-Pac boys around Nish, they all chuckle lightly, and Nish kind of waves him off with a hand, and he goes, son, young man, I don't think you know the world of danger that your little girlfriend is getting herself into.
I don't, and that is why I am looking for her.
He takes another big drag off of his pipe, and he says, hypothetically, that makes two of us.
Well then, where does that leave us now?
He takes a look at his wrist and puts it back down on his desk. That leaves us with approximately 120 seconds to get on stage. He looks back at his boys and gives them a nod, and what looked like all of them like reaching into their jackets and holding onto their weapons ready to pull on you. They all whip out their instruments like their horns and trombones and stuff, and they all start making their way out of Nish's office. Why don't y'all enjoy the club for the remainder of the evening? And then when we're done with our set, let's have us a little chat, shall we? Under less stressful circumstances.
Of course. We would be happy to.
He finishes off his pipe and passes it to one of his boys. And he says, I'll see you all down at the bar. He looks at you, Daisy. Ooh, darling mama. And then leaves.
I'll if there's anybody who looks like a techie running with him, I'll say the spinning light can be up for another 45. So
Okay, so they could use it
I'll
too.
leave the thing spinning there.
The albino Kenku who came running up just as Nish left. He's out of breath. He's like, yeah, don't even worry about it, smooth talker. We set the stage up real nice after you guys messed it up.
Change too much?
So we killing him? We're killing him, right? In the dumpster out back? Nah. Nish said to meet him at the bar after the set. What? We're not killing him? They all leave him in the room with you guys, and he feels a little awkward and kind of shuffles back out the door.
Marjorie kind of chuckles. His disappointment is immeasurable. His day is ruined.
Never get to kill nobody anymore. They're interlopers. They're interlopers. Come on.
Marjorie feels pretty proud of herself. So we have, hopefully, a lead coming on, and now we can enjoy ourselves.
There are much less violence in the stories I've heard.
What stories? Who are they? Yeah, Marjorie's kind of like, what? Do I know who the Axe Pack is?
Not really.
Yeah, not really. She's like, who? Like, what? It's, who are they?
Well, they used to be quite big as a international
Ish. Crime Syndicate?
Can I pop a history check to spout random, probably useless in the moment, but true facts about the Axe Pack?
Yes.
Not a lot.
All you know about the Axe Pack from reading in the papers, they are indeed an international crime syndicate, and they're probably the most famous one. Even though you haven't studied them at all, you know all about their criminal activities in the barony. You know that they've started making waves in Ashburn Sound. They've started making inroads. And they're called the Axe Pack because there's a bunch of them, and they have axes. They love axes. They use axes for everything.
Even their puns.
Right, yeah,
Even their puns.
Even the puns. Like, once Ollie starts launching into it, she just grabs Modest and like, we're dancing. It just drags him on downstairs. With someone. We're doing something, literally anything else. Hurries off.
Oh, are you dragging Modest down there?
Oh yeah, well it's dance time, right? There's music. He's to his favorite musician. Oh yeah, was he starstruck the whole time?
He's still starstruck.
Okay, well,
His gaze is locked in the direction of Nish.
okay, well yeah, she'll drag him after him, and so we could set up. Is there a dance floor here?
Once Nish starts, there is.
Oh,
they
clear
move the tables out of the way. Yeah.
Sick, yeah. Oh, she is
And
stoked.
Modest was right. Nish shreds on the saxophone. And while you were dancing with Modest, eventually he comes back to his senses and says, hey! Over all the rigmarole and the music. Hey, Marjorie!
Hmm.
Why couldn't the pony sing in the choir?
Oh no, why couldn't he?
He was a little hoarse.
Ah, shoves him.
How much damage is Marjorie taking?
I'm immune to his vicious mockery. Bard skills, something bard skills.
All right, so Marjorie is dancing with Modest. What are the rest of you doing during the interim between now and when you have your chat with Nish?
Okay, because I need to go to bed soon, let me do my thing real quick. I
Go
need
ahead.
to upset everyone before I go to sleep.
Joy of joys.
I need to, you know that lovely gator man at the front entrance?
Yes, I do.
I need a jar of his con. I need to go milk this man.
Oh my god. He did make eyes at her.
I'd like to try and seduce and then milk this man for a jar full of his semen to use as a
Oh.
thing.
What the fuck?
Roll either a survival or a nature?
I don't know. That should probably be a sleight of hand.
No,
No,
not
don't worry,
if
I
he's
got
like
this.
into it.
I got a
Oh,
26 for
Jesus.
nature. How much con do I get? How much gator con have I got? Also, I'd like to point out, you're all more upset about this than you are the horse, so I'm just saying.
Probably.
No.
No, I don't
I'm
know.
grateful for the horse now.
Well, like, our characters don't know this part. We're busy.
They don't, but the players are more upset.
I'm gonna say enough to fill a Snapple bottle.
You know what?
Oh my.
That'll do.
I mean, you know, she rolled a 26 over here. I mean,
Oh my.
I also hate to tell you, this is a really important story thing for what Daisy actually is.
is it? Okay, sure, why not?
Well, Steve, what did she specialize in? Exactly. See? Hints.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to explain this one to me, but I think I know where you're going with it.
I'm gonna do this at a later date. I have
Yeah,
some ideas.
you don't gotta do it now. You don't gotta do it now. I will say that you are very successful,
I mean, we don't gotta do it at all.
and your personal investigator is quite smitten.
Aw.
I think the best thing is, I don't speak common, and I did not give this guy the ability to talk in my mind, so I did this without word.
Nice.
Just later on, when you guys leave, you're just gonna see Daisy coming out of the back alley all disheveled, and this guy like stumbling around.
Jeez.
Looking a little drained.
Good, now I've upset you all, I can go to bed.
Good night.
Nighty night, you freak of nature.
You let me play this.
You did.
Yeah, really, this is my fault. But yeah, you guys are treated to a night in this fancy club, and to Nishniol's one of his final performances. He's getting up there in years. He can't do it as often as he used to be able to.
Aramis will look at Ollie. Get to join me at the bar for a drink?
Yeah, don't mind if I do.
What will you have?
Just a pint of something light.
Sounds good. Barkeep, a pint of a light ale for my friend here, and a whiskey neat for myself.
You get your whiskey first. They gotta reach in deep for a pint of ale, but you get it. When you go to pay him, they kind of wave you off. Nish says you're drinking for free tonight.
Well,
Appreciate it.
the first for me. So, Aramis.
Oui?
It's Gabrielle that you're following. You
Yes.
obviously know her well, right?
I was not lying when I said what I said to Nish.
How did that all go down? Like, why did she leave? Do you know?
He'll pause for a moment, and you can see he's kind of weighing over how much he's willing to divulge, but after a moment, he says, She is the number one suspect in the murder of my order's grandmaster. I caught her standing over his body, covered in blood, and she fled. It was not like her it was not like her to do such a thing, but I've also always known her to be an honorable woman, and if she was innocent, she would have stayed and cleared things up. So, I kind of at a loss of whether or not she did this, and I was tasked to bring her back, dead or alive, but I would be lying if I did not say that I am more concerned with finding her and finding the truth.
When you said, like the first thing that you said in response was the murder of your master being the prime suspect, he does the like bomb drop whistle and takes a large swig and like eyes go wide, that kind of thing. Yeah, talk about a sticky situation.
Indeed. I thought that she could trust me with anything, but now I don't know if I truly knew her or not.
Yeah, well, you're probably much closer to being able to figure any of that out in that department than I would be. But man, that's complicated.
Indeed, that is actually why I'm traveling with Marjorie. I hired investigative services to help me.
It's all making a little more sense now.
Yes. I had intended to keep quiet about our task, but as we've traveled together, I have learned you to be an honorable man, and one I feel I can trust. And this is why I'm being honest with you.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence. Hope I don't waste it.
I don't think you will.
Well, he'll raise a glass and say, if I can do anything to help things resolve the way you want them to, I'll do my best.
Aramis will just give a nod and he'll clink glasses together with him, and then he'll down the entire glass in one go and just raise a finger to the barkeep for another.
Oh, you get another.
And he'll leave a tip as well. He'll slide some banknotes his way.
Ooh, bartender gives you a wink and starts giving you the better stuff.
What would I feel like a good tip would be?
20 or more.
He'll give him 50.
Oh yeah, you get the good stuff. He uncorks a jet black bottle and pours it in. It's extra dark. There you go. 10 is 20 here. Don't go too crazy though. You still gotta talk to the boss.
I think this will be my last one. Thank you, though.
Oh no. Thank you, pal.
I assume we eventually come to the bar whenever we're exhausted and also get drinks. And either come and go, because how long does he perform for?
Oh, Nish is gonna be up there for about an hour.
Okay, so we'd come by for a drink, and if something new came on, she'd want to keep dancing or go back to dancing after a refreshment of some sort. But then, oh, I can't help but dance. The music's playing, gotta groove.
I think the next one will be mine. He'll just kind of shoot a glance at Modest, and he'll go to take Marjorie's hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's a little surprised, but she goes with you.
Initially, Modeste pretends to give you his hand. He goes, "Oh, you met her? Very well, very well."
You get the next one, buddy.
He pumps his fist.
Ollie just keeps sipping on his beer and just watches Marjorie and Aramis as they dance.
We probably do like some
tango
Celestine,
stuff.
yeah, some Celestine swing, showing off for the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to show off?
Yeah.
Pull some Celestine move.
Yeah, totally. Was that a performance?
Yeah, you can hit me with either a performance or an athletics or acrobatics. Both is.
Okay. See, Marjorie's getting a little tired. Yeah, Marjorie's getting a little tired, so you have to swing her around a little bit.
There are an equal amount of people that are like, wow, so exotic, and then other people are like, ugh, Celestine show-offs. Yeah, how typical.
Most excellent.
Which, yeah, that gives Celestines their power, kind of.
They're just mad.
Oh yeah, back at the bar, Modeste kind of leans into Nadia and says, "So," and she says no. Didn't even ask. The answer is no. I just wanted to ask if you wanted to dance. No, I already said no. I knew what you were going to ask, and I said no. It's like you hate being happy. You are only pleased when you are miserable. Then she kind of smiles and nods. And turns to Heinrich and offers you a hand.
Yes. It's been some time, but yes, of course.
You dance with Nadia. She is very bad. You actually have to teach her how to dance a little bit. And she goes very slow and gentle because she knows your back is fucked up. And whenever she gets an opportunity, she glares at Modest. He's over there, he's like, "Oh, jealous." He's old.
He just watches and drinks and sighs.
Oh, come on. What do you have to be in a bad mood for, huh?
Nothing. Nothing important. Not right now.
No, not at all.
Suffice to
leans in.
say, Modest, I don't think you'd be the best man to ask for advice on the subject.
Nonsense! I am the best man to ask for advice. Either it is part of my wheelhouse and I am an expert, or I have no idea what you're talking about, and I give you this. And he gives you the routine where he smiles and nods and pretends to listen.
Right.
You really can't go wrong.
Let's just say we had a conversation and you did that the whole time.
He continues to smile and nod.
Nolly finishes his drink and asks for another.
Oh, you get another. If you try to keep going, eventually they cut you off and give you the spiel of, you gotta talk to the boss, right?
He doesn't push it too much. It's like he probably has 2, maybe 3 over the whole hour.
Eventually, Yaraplet comes back, his pants jingling. He is obviously laden with stuff. Oh, hey. Oh, what did I miss? What's going on?
Yeah, that's a good source of passive income for Aramis.
That's
Oh,
Europlex money.
Oh, passive income. What? Huh?
Eventually come back for her second drink, probably, because that's a lot of work dancing. Near the end of the hour. Her hair's all ruffled now. But that adds to the charm,
All
Having
right.
fun?
So,
Yes.
no, go ahead.
Yeah, she's like, oh, yes. I have not gotten to do anything like this in quite some time. It is refreshing. It is so warm in here. And, like, for the first time in a while, she's not, like, rubbing her hands together to be warm.
Yeah, it has been oddly cold. I mean, I think we know a little bit of why, but yeah, a lot of people. Smallish confined space. That'll do just fine.
Oh, cold. I have always been cold. She waves for a drink. Always.
I think I'm gonna have to pull a Daisy. I gotta be up early tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, we could wrap up around here.
Sure.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. If you guys want, we can have the Nishniol's conversation either in character next week or in the in character channel on the Discords.
Okay, maybe. It's a pretty big deal.
Because he's gonna wrap up on stage and he's gonna be it for the night, and people are gonna start filing out, and eventually it's just gonna be him and the boys at the bar with you
Yeah,
guys.
I might want to
Okay,
wait till next
okay.
week for that.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
we
fine
could
with
also
waiting.
put it in the recap. Because what he's going to give us is mostly just information.
Pretty
That's
much,
true,
that's what I'm
too.
saying.
So
That's true, too.
So we could that wouldn't be a too bad a chat to
True.
to have.
We can leave off with Ollie spouting scientific facts about poor blood circulation.
Love it.
Oh, he's suggesting. I mean, she'd be yeah, that'll be an interesting conversation. She's gonna be very bewildered. But yeah, thanks for coming, everybody, and we will see everyone next week.
Good night,
Take
everyone.
care.
Hi, I love you.
Later, guys.